Hello, everyone. I am back today. My name is Mina Irfan, and I am a life coach and spiritual mentor for high achieving, successful women, for little baddies like myself. And today we're talking about engagements and 10 things that you can kind of expect, or 10 things I want you to know, basically, if you have used my system of rotational dating and met the man of your dreams, and now you are engaged. So first and foremost, congratulations on your engagement. And this is where you're really excited and you've learned these feminine energy tools. You've learned how to get that gut level emotional response from a guy. You've gotten the ring. And so you're like, okay, well, what now, right? What do I do now? How do I navigate important decisions? How do I navigate planning the wedding? How do I navigate being more of a couple now and having a status? Right? Like this is the first time many of you guys are able to have a name for your relationship, as we don't do that in the rotational dating stage. So let's talk about number one. Number one is that if you've used rotational dating to get engaged, remember that you are still in data collection mode. Now, when I talk about data collection mode, this does not mean we're in red flag mode, right? Like that's the fight and flight kind of mode. And we're not doing that over here as successful, high achieving women. We have overcome our fight and flight modes, or have actively worked on overcoming it recently. And so we're not looking at him as like guilty until proven innocent. We're looking at him as my beautiful fiance, innocent, and data collection. So what do I mean by data collection? This is where you're getting to know him a little bit better. You're getting to know how he interacts with his family and friends, how he interacts with his children, if he's got any, how he interacts with his job, how he interacts with his money. Because you're now his fiance, you have a little bit more in on these things. So let me give you an example from my personal life. When I was engaged to my husband, I noticed that there were certain people in his life that he confided in, and then other people that he shared the bare minimum details of his life with. So this wasn't a red flag. It was simply like, okay, like, maybe there's a reason that he does that. And so I mirrored his actions, right? Like I wouldn't overshare anything with family of friends of your fiance anyways, but I knew that I mirrored how he was treating certain people, and like didn't overshare details that I wouldn't want him like that he wasn't sharing, if that makes sense, right? So that's what I mean by data collection, is like just to know what are some things that he does and how he interacts, and this will help you know more about him. Another thing that I noticed with my husband was that he's very introverted in certain aspects of his life, but when he would go and hang out with certain family and friends, he became like the life of the party. He became like very introverted self. And so that was kind of an interesting dynamic to see. And based on this, I could see who he was close to and who he had to sort of put on this act of like life of the party. And so that's just important information to have, I feel like, right? Like this is the man you're going to spend the rest of your life with, and you want to get to know these kind of things. So that's number one. Number two is remember, and this is probably the most important. Okay, so I probably should have put this at number one. This is the most important. Keep that gut level emotional response going. Ladies, this is not the time to let go of that gut level emotional response that you have built up and gotten going in the dating phase. That's why you got the ring, right? The gut level emotional response is the most important thing in relationships. It keeps the polarity, it keeps the love growing and the romance growing after the initial 18 months, which they have studied of like where the chemistry starts falling away and the real love starts to grow. So keep that at all costs. Look, I get it. As a high achieving, badass alpha woman that I am and that you are, it's very easy to start using the tools that we use in our business, in our education, in our career, in our relationship. And unfortunately, they just don't work. I feel like men have it a little bit better in this realm. So for men, when they go to work, when they're getting their education, when they're in their career, they use their alpha skills. And then when they're in a relationship, they use their alpha skills. And so it's like coherent for them. For women, we're getting our higher education, we're building our businesses, we've got our career going. We use all of these yummy, delicious alpha skills. Well, if we bring that to the relationship, his alpha and our alpha starts repelling each other. Or he tries to harmonize the relationship by going into his beta, his feminine, and then we're all of a sudden we're like, eek, this does not feel good to me. I want a leader. I want a masculine man, right? So know that he's leading the relationship, but you're leading the energy. So he's the head, you're the neck, girl. So don't bring the same skill sets. Don't go into like telling him what to do like he's your employee or something. He is not your employee. He is your man. He is your partner. Okay, so just be aware of this, that it is more important than ever to keep that gut level emotional response going. Number 3, I've got my little notebook here so I wouldn't forget. So sorry if I keep looking down. Okay, so this is important. Oh my God, if I could go back to my old self and give her this information, would have saved me a lot of heartache and pain and a lot of unnecessary arguments and things like that. So number 3 is none of the decisions that you are currently making are that important. I said it. There you go, girl. Not important. When we are in decision-making mode, the decision that you're making seems like the make or break the decision, right? This house or this house, this ring or this ring, right? This wedding venue or that one. None of that in the long run matters. If you look back at your life, think of all the times where you thought like so hard about what decision you were going to make. Like it was like life or death. Does it even matter now? Like there's very few decisions that are like, oh my God, right? Like that had a huge impact. Most decisions are small decisions. The house that you live in won't matter if it, you can buy a dream house that creates a dream. You can buy a dream house that creates a nightmare relationship because you overstretch yourself, right? Or you can buy a house that is maybe a little bit under what you wanted, but it allows you to keep that dream house and that dream relationship because neither one of you guys feel overstretched, right? So keep that in mind. Keep in perspective that the divine union between you and him is the most important thing. A lot of couples get really, really stuck on this. It's never you against him. It's never you versus him. It's always your love, your divine union versus, okay, what are we tackling here? And in the long run, step back for a moment. Is this going to matter? I used to do this thing and I've outgrown this practice, but I think it may be really, really useful to you guys. I used to ask myself, will this decision matter in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next 9 months? And if my answer was like, no, I'm probably going to not even remember, like it literally won't matter. I would just not have an opinion about it, right? Be like, it doesn't matter to me, right? And the truth is, as someone that is a spiritual person that's doing my inner work, most things don't matter to me as long as there's love flowing between me and my family members, me and my husband, me and my children. Like, who cares, right? And so if the answer is yes, this one decision is like life altering, it's a non-negotiable, then yeah, that's worth, bringing up. But most things don't really matter, yet we tend to get into like these really funky power struggles when that's not the end goal. The end goal is to have this beautiful, romantic, forever relationship, okay? Remember that this is still part of 3. Chemistry fades in 18 months. Love only grows. So keep focused on that love and don't let on any of these like little momentary decisions ruin your marriage or your engagement. Remember that if you're planning on getting married and staying married forever, for some of you guys, depending on your age, that could be 50, 60, 70 years, right? Like that's a long time. You're going to make many decisions in that time. You're going to move many houses. You're going to buy many cars. You're going to decide different things about whether to have children, not have children, where you raise your children. You're going to make decisions about every single thing on the planet. So the decision isn't the end goal. It's always the relationship, the love, okay? Number 4, keep complexity and keep complexity out and avoid drama at all costs. Oh my goodness, the things that people get caught up into, people fighting over wedding stuff, and like it's not worth it, right? Like you got into this union to have love and romance and fun, right? I'm assuming if you follow my work and you enjoy what I teach, that you're like me. You like to have a fun, vibrant, happy, abundant life. You're not about the drama. You're so over that. Yet I see women getting caught up in so much wedding drama and so much dress shopping, ring drama, house drama. None of that matters. I like to keep my life really simple. The funny thing is that the simpler I keep my life, the happier I am, the more love and romance we have in our marriage, and the richer we get, right? Because complexity isn't the answer. It's about living a beautiful, simple, abundant life. And so avoid the drama. I have an example of this from my life. My husband and I decided to have a very, very small wedding because of many, many reasons. My mom had cancer at the time, and she was just very ill, and I didn't really celebrate, the wedding wasn't important, the marriage. Sorry about that. My screen froze for a second. So I had stopped talking. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. So when I was getting married, I mentioned that my mom had cancer. We didn't really feel like doing a whole full-blown thing. Also, both my husband and I are introverts. We're not really into huge, huge weddings with lots of drama and things like that. It's not our thing. And secondly, we both had a goal of paying off a mortgage. So we knew that it wasn't worth it. So what we ended up doing was a very small event in Chicago, because my mom wouldn't be able to travel where my husband's family was, and then a very small dinner for my husband's family in New York. And my friends also wanted to do kind of this like third thing, this little like party with dances and things like that, which is very common in our culture. And so we had planned that, but we started noticing that there was some drama brewing around that other event that my family my friends were trying to do. No joke, literally the night before that extra event, we called it off. My husband and I, we were engaged at that time, my fiance and I, we got on the phone and we were like, you know what, there's drama around this. We are not doing this. It's not worth it. This is about you and I, not about all this other stuff. And so we literally called up the 20 people that were coming to that. And we were like, hey, we canceled. Some people were upset, but like we were happy. My husband got takeout. He came over to my condo. We called in a couple of friends. They came over, they helped me pack. And that was so much more fun for me and him than trying to do this thing that was now pulling in extra drama. So keep it simple. It's not worth it. Number 5, watch out for container issues. Oh my God. After number 2, the gut level one, this is probably the most important. This is when container issues occur. What are container issues? So container issues are basically a form of self-sabotage that creeps up because you are not, if you're a woman like me that has been high achieving, powerful, successful in your alpha, you're not really used to being treated like this feminine queen. You're not used to being cherished and adored by masculine alpha men. And so because you have been in that polarity for most of your life, right? And so now this man is coming forward and he's treating you like you should be treated. He's showering you with attention and his energy and taking care of you and providing for you. And so you're not neuro-adapted for that, right? You're neuro-adapted for disappointment in love, for men letting you down, for things not working out, right? So your nervous system is basically goes into like this frizzle and crack mode and starts creating all this drama. It starts self-sabotaging. It starts finding red flags when there aren't any. And I have had clients that I worked with, successful, powerful women that came in, started rotational dating, got engaged, and then said that they started having all of these like negative thoughts or like nightmares or headaches, right? Because they weren't used to this kind of attention. And so when we worked through it, they were able to neuro-adapt to joy and bliss and romance. And so it takes work. Like I did this too. And I created, oh my God, I'm embarrassed to say how much drama I ended up creating in the beginning. And that's why I'm so passionate about teaching you guys this. I wouldn't want my daughter, my sister, my friends, any of you guys to go through the drama that I created. So watch out for container issues. I have a whole course on this called Femme Fortune, is linked in the description box. In fact, I always was looking for like the perfect gift for the women that get engaged when they're working with me. Because like I want to give them more than just like a flower bouquet, right? Especially because they're getting all that stuff from their man anyways. And so I created this course, and this is the gift that I give them now when they get engaged and they send me the picture of their ring and they tell me about it. I'm like, congratulations, girl. Here's the container course. Do this, watch it. And so they know what to do with issues like that. Okay, number 6. I think I may have said this before, but keep focused on the divine union. The little things, the petty things, where you live now, who's doing what, whose family, whatever, it's not important. Now it's you and him in divine union, okay? So protect this union. This is sacred service to the entire planet. I believe so. I believe that I get to have a beautiful romantic divine union, abundance, health, a beautiful family, all of these things, because that is in great service. We need more role models of healthy couples making amazing love and joy and abundance on this planet. So girl, you are not only doing this for yourself, we need more people like that on the planet. So protect that divine union, okay? Number 7, learn to stay at the desire counter. I think this is a lost art. Women used to know how to communicate in desires, but these days we are more neuro-adapted to communicating in complaints. Complaints keep you stuck. Complaints keep you limited. Complaints keep you in very limited possibility and not in your full potential. And they repel healthy masculine men. So cut it out. I used to do this too. It didn't work. I noticed that my husband would get really irritable around me when I was in that really yucky complaining mode. So remember that you have a whole life to enjoy. You don't have to come at this as a hungry ghost and get the man and the dream house and the dream bank account and the dream car and the dream dress and everything all in one go. Most of us don't have the nervous system for that type of joy anyways. So let yourself get the things, over time. The journey is important. It doesn't all have to be perfect in the beginning. So I gave you guys the example in the other video that when I married my husband, he had bought a house for his future wife that he was paying off me, right? It wasn't my dream house. No, it was a house that the man of my life, the man that was marrying me, had bought for me. So it wasn't the only house I ever owned. No, right? Like we eventually ended up renting that. We lived in it for 2 years, rented it out for another 2 years, and bought this house. So it's not whatever the thing is right now, you get to have it, but it doesn't all have to be on one golden platter. So pace yourself here, girl. Okay. Number 8, respect your husband's free will always. No entitlement. The way I look at this is that my husband doesn't owe me anything. And therefore, everything he gives me, and every act of kindness, every moment of interaction, everything is a gift, right? And so keep in that attitude of gratitude. Don't turn into Bridezilla expecting this entitled treatment, okay? This is his marriage too. This is his divine union too. So keep focused and keep respect that he has his opinions too, and he's entitled to those opinions, girl, okay? I feel like this is me giving my 27-year-old advice because I needed all this advice, okay? 9. This is going to sound weird. Okay, so 9 is going to be a weird one. So in my culture, I'm from the Eastern culture. I noticed that married couples there had this air of formality in the way they communicated with each other. And I could never understand this when I was little because I was born and raised in America and people are not very formal here. And I was like, well, why would you want to be formal with the one person that you're supposed to be casual with? But what I've learned is that in the Western culture, we're super casual with the people that are most important to us. And we often neglect to say please and thank you and like take things for granted. And then we're like super formal with like other people, like people we'll never see again, right? We'll say thank you to the guy that opens the door for us randomly, right? But like forget to say thank you to the man that like gives to us every single day and cherishes us and adores us. And we start taking that stuff for granted. So now I realize that that is very important. So make sure that you keep that air of formality and those manners in your relationship, whether you're just engaged or married for 50 years. I think I really appreciate that in the Eastern culture that they do that. And so I have created that in my marriage, that I don't let things slip. I don't take things for granted. I do point them out. If I forget in the moment, I will often go back and say, hey, I really appreciated how you did that for me earlier today. And I just want my husband to know that I'm noticing all those little things. I know they take effort, and I don't want to just take things for granted. Okay. And I notice that the more I do that, the more he does that too. So it's just there's actually a scientific reason for that. I believe they're called mirror neurons. Like whatever you send out, your partner starts mirroring that. So just to know. Number 10. Okay. Number 10 is have fun. The reason that we are wanting to create this beautiful, loving, divine union is because it's so juicy and fun. Life is not meant to be hard. Life is not meant for suffering. That's the old life, right? Like I know many of us are coming from trauma and abuse and all this stuff. I know I certainly am. There's pretty much no type of abuse that you can imagine that I haven't been through before my 25th birthday. But like I'm over that. I've done my healing work. Like I done therapy thing. And now like I'm here to have fun, and I'm here to create this beautiful life. So keep your focus on that, girl. Like, you know, don't get sucked into all these little things. And I think I want to add to that don't expect everyone to understand your relationship. Your mother, your daughter, your sister, your friend, a lot of these people have been through stuff. There's a lot of trauma in the feminine female consciousness, and they're not going to necessarily understand what you guys have. So I always listen to feedback from women that have healthy, conscious relationships, but I ignore feedback from women that don't have what I'm creating or where I'm going. When I was getting married to Irfan, I had so many friends and family members, you know, kind of whispering in my ear and saying all these things against him or against our relationship, only to go and start envying that and going and wanting to get it themselves. So eventually they woke up that what I had was beautiful and divine union. And then they went and either married someone similar or admitted to me that they actually wanted this too. So which takes a lot of courage. But in the beginning, they were like, why do you have to make decisions with your husband? Why can't you just decide? Because that's what divine union is. A marriage is that we make decisions together, that we respect each other's free will, that we now have this beautiful companionship. So, you know, I had some friends that didn't like the way that I spoke to my husband. They said, you know, why do you speak to him like that? Like, why don't you just yell at him or like say things that way that I say it to my boyfriend or something like that? Because that's not what I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create a healthy, happy, harmonious home. I don't want a kind of home or marriage where we're yelling at each other, where we're rude to each other. I like speaking to my husband in a respectful manner, and I expect the same. So I had to zone those people out. First of all, they didn't have the type of relationship that I wanted, so I wasn't going to listen to that. I had a lot of compassion for them, but at the same time, it was like in one ear and out the other, because that's not what I'm trying to create. So I love you guys so much. I've listed my coaching email if you guys are looking for one-on-one services. I've listed some programs that might be useful to you, my rotational dating course, my container course in the description box. I love you guys so much. Go create beautiful romance and love in the world. Trust me, the world needs more healthy, happy, conscious couples. I love you guys so much. Bye.